Hey, what's up guys, Raman here, Master Gadgets. I hope you're all having a wonderful day wherever you might be. Thank you so much for joining me. This video is going to be a bit different than what I typically upload. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience of having COVID-19 over the last week and a half or so. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Alright guys, so let me first talk a little bit about my health condition prior to getting sick. I don't have any underlying health conditions. I don't take any medications. I work out about 4 to 5 days a week. And I consider myself to be a very active individual with a healthy lifestyle. I try to eat as much healthy foods as I possibly can. I don't really take a lot of junk food or a lot of pop or soda or anything like that. Overall, again, I consider myself to be a healthy individual. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and rewind back to March 26th, 2020. That was a Thursday, and I woke up in the morning with a bit of a cough as well as a fever. And I thought nothing of it, even though, yes, it crossed my mind that, hey, what if it's the start of something along the lines of COVID-19? But at that time, I didn't want to be, on high alert or high alarm. And I just thought, it's probably nothing and I will get through it. So, of course, I called into work. I didn't actually show up in the facility or in my office, but I worked from home. The next day is when I started feeling a little bit worse and I started losing my voice, started getting a deeper cough, a higher fever, and things of that nature. So I called my doctor and my doctor basically said, isolate yourself. You don't know what it could be. And right now, at that time, testing wasn't available and I couldn't get tested. So I was basically told to stay in isolation. And if my breathing issues get worse or if I could develop any more symptoms, to go ahead and go to the ER. Now, let me kind of just add a little bit more context to this. So my wife, who also got sick, she got sick a day before I did. So I assumed that I caught something from her, or again, maybe I was exposed to the same environment that she was, and maybe I got something as well. So she also had a fever and cough and basically the same symptoms that I did. And for those of you that might not know, I do have 4 children, so it's very difficult for us to isolate ourselves and not be with the kids. My youngest one being 7 months now, and my oldest one being 11 years old. So I've got everyone in between. So it made it extremely difficult for us to basically isolate ourselves from them just because they do require care. And obviously we didn't have anyone that can come into our house, or we didn't want anyone coming to our house anyways, just because we didn't want to expose them of anything that we might potentially have. So let's go ahead and fast forward to where we're at today. So in the last week or so, a lot of things have happened. I've had a lot of chills, a lot of shortness of breath, a lot of heavy cough, especially at night. I literally couldn't sleep for almost 3 nights in a row because I was coughing so much. And just recently, today is Sunday, April 5th. On Friday, on Thursday, which was April 2nd, I called the doctor and said, listen, I feel absolutely terrible. Had not slept much in 3 days. My cough is getting worse and I'm feeling it a lot more on both sides of my chest. Originally, when I was coughing, I kind of felt it on one side of my chest. This past Thursday, April 2nd, I started feeling a lot of pressure and a lot of pain in both sides of my chest. So I called the doctor and I told him what happened and how I feel. And he pretty much said he's certain that I have COVID-19. He went ahead and wrote a test for me to get done and told me that somebody will reach out to me from a committee of the hospital that'll evaluate my file as far as my health goes, and they'll go ahead and give me a call to set up a test for me. The next day, April 3rd, Friday, I didn't get a call from anyone, so I called back to my doctor and said, hey, I've not heard from anyone. When am I supposed to get this test done? And they gave me the line to the telephone number to where to call, where they had forwarded my information. I gave them a call and they basically told me that my test was denied, that I could not be tested even though I have every single symptom of COVID-19. And I was having difficulty breathing, I was having chest pains, I was having a cough, but I was told I could not be tested. Why? They told me because of my age, I could not be tested because they have limited supplies of tests. So of course, as concerned as I was having young ones and in the condition that I was in, I called the doctor again and said, listen, I just called the hotline and they told me that my file was denied for testing because of my age and because of limited amount of tests. Basically, the doctor said there's not a whole lot that he can do. He said, go ahead and isolate yourself. And if your symptoms worsen, go ahead and go to the ER. He also told me that if I go to the ER, I would have potentially exposure to other people as well as maybe put myself in more danger if I in fact didn't have it, but he said he was almost certain that I did. So here I am today. Today is April 5th. Today is Sunday, and I still have some of the symptoms. It's gotten a lot better. My cough has gotten a lot better. My voice is coming back. My chest only hurts now when I cough. So I still have symptoms, but even today, April 5th, I still cannot get tested for COVID-19. So for those of you that might not know where I live in Naperville, which is about 40 minutes west of Chicago. And I don't know, I keep hearing on the news, and of course our wonderful president continues to tell us that testing is available and now there's rapid testing and things like that. But unfortunately, even for myself, who is in the healthcare field, I work in the healthcare field, I have the symptoms. My doctor wrote a test for me to get done, but I cannot get tested because there's not enough tests available. And because of my age, they denied my testing. So it is beyond frustrating because we live in a country where we are supposed to have healthcare benefits available to us, but as an American, I cannot get tested. It's extremely, extremely concerning that I've got 4 kids at home. My wife has the same symptoms. I have the same symptoms, but there's nothing our doctors can do to get us tested. It is just absolutely absurd that we live in this country and we cannot get tested. Yet our president every single day goes on CNN, goes on the news, and tells us that there's enough tests available for everyone to be tested. So with the politics put aside, let me just say, if you are not taking precautions, please take precautions to protect yourself, because if you do get COVID-19, it is extremely difficult to function. It almost feels like a train hit you, where you feel so fatigued, you feel so out of it that you cannot function. And I sincerely hope that no one has to go through this, but again, that's why it's important to take precautions. I think once everything started, people didn't realize how impactful this can be, how easily it can be transferred from one person to another. I can't go back to identifying one area where I could have been exposed, but I have been cautious. Even when this first came out, I've kept my distance from people. I have not gone shopping. I have not gone out. I have not done a whole lot of things outside of going to work and coming back. And again, because I work in the healthcare field, I want to be able to help the people that I can. But at the same time, as you guys can imagine, I'm concerned for my health as well as my family's well-being. And when my wife first developed it, and then I got it the next day, at least the symptoms, again, I don't know when we were exposed, it was absolutely alarming and absolutely concerning, because again, who's going to take care of our kids in case something happens? And every single day, if you hear the news, you hear more and more cases about even people in their 30s passing away from these symptoms, not having underlying conditions, not having what the doctors and really these professionals have been telling us, that, hey, yes, there's higher risk for individuals that have underlying conditions. There's higher risk for individuals that are a little bit older. But there's still those individuals that are being reported that are in the 30s, 40s without underlying conditions that are dying from this disease. And I understand the chances are very, very low, but it's when you have kids and really your life revolves around them, even that slightest chance makes you extremely concerned, because you want to be there for them. You want to be able to support them. You want to see them grow. And when you have in your mind that, hey, you know what, I've got this disease that I might not know if I'll be here tomorrow. I might not know if I'll be here day after tomorrow. It really starts to put things into perspective for you. And it's very difficult to live with that feeling, especially knowing that you cannot even get tested. You don't even know if you have it for sure, because there are not enough tests available even to this day. And now today again is April 5th, which is a Sunday. So my advice to all of those of you that are out there, if you have it, isolate yourself. As difficult as it might be, get through it. If you are experiencing a lot of shortness of breath, go ahead and go to the hospital and get yourself checked. And for those of you that might not have it, again, follow the precautions that people are telling you. Dr. Fauci and all the healthcare professionals, the doctors that are saying, keep your distance, limit your exposure, don't go in bigger gatherings and things like that. And again, just help eliminate this spread of the virus. One thing I will say is I've had a lot of great support from family and friends who have checked on us repeatedly just to make sure we're okay. But, my standpoint on it is I can't have somebody come into our house and help take care of the kids or help take care of us, because I don't want to expose them with anything that I might have or anything that my wife might have. And so it's extremely difficult to maneuver or try to function or try to figure out what you can do for your kids without exposing them, and how you can basically isolate yourself from them, especially if you've got young ones and both of the parents, but again, like I said, my wife and myself are sick. So, we've been disinfecting a lot. We've been keeping our distance as hard as it might be. from our kids. I will say our 7-month-old, it's been almost impossible just because she's 7 months old. And so she's been around us, and, we're just concerned about their health. And I understand, kids are more immune to these and they shouldn't impact them as much. But as a parent, of course, it concerns you that you have, the virus and you're basically in house with the kids who are yours, and you might be spreading it to them. So we are right now, as of right now, we're almost a week and a half into it. And then my doctor basically advised me and said, continue to quarantine yourself up to a week after your symptoms are gone. So right now, like I said, I still have a cough. It's not nearly as bad. It's gotten a lot better. I still have some irritation and some pressure in my chest, especially when I cough. So the minute that I am symptom free, I do have to quarantine myself for another week after that, per my doctor's orders. And then hopefully we can go ahead and go back to society after that. It's hard to say, what's going to happen a week from now. Obviously, this virus and this condition is developing on a daily basis, as you guys, I'm sure, have heard on the news. So that's really what I wanted to share. It's just my experience of going through the week and a half that I've gone through with the symptoms that I've had, what I've experienced with COVID-19. I sincerely hope all of you that are watching this are safe and healthy, and I hope you guys are all taking precautions to protect yourself and your family from getting this virus. I wish you nothing but good health. Stay safe out there, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.